You are not too sensitive. You're tuned. Hey guys, welcome back to Human Velocity X. My name still isn't important, and at this point, you probably already understand why. Because this was never really about the speaker. It was about the signal. And maybe about the parts of yourself you've been trying to understand your whole life. You've walked with me through awareness, through intuition, through noticing, through resonance, through the quiet weight of feeling more than you could explain. And today, we're stepping deeper into something a lot of people misunderstood in you from the very beginning. Sensitivity, not weakness, not fragility, not being too emotional, not taking things too personally. Tuning. That feeling you get before the room changes, that heaviness before someone says something bad, that pressure in your chest when someone smiles but something underneath them feels wrong. That exhaustion after crowds, that deep reaction to cruelty, that strange ability to feel tension before words are spoken. You weren't imagining it. You were reading the field. You weren't overreacting. You were responding to signals other people either missed, ignored, or trained themselves not to feel anymore. And somewhere along the way, a world obsessed with noise started treating awareness like a malfunction. People told you, you think too much, you care too much, you're too sensitive. You need thicker skin, you need to calm down. You take everything so seriously. But maybe the real issue wasn't your sensitivity. Maybe the real issue was how disconnected everyone else became. Because sensitive people notice patterns. Sensitive people notice shifts. Sensitive people feel contradiction, and contradiction makes people uncomfortable, especially people trying to perform certainty. That's why awareness gets mocked first, not because it's weak, because it threatens illusion. And the deeper truth? Some of you spent your whole lives trying to shut your tuning down just to survive around louder people. You learn to second-guess yourself, ignore your instincts, laugh when things hurt, stay quiet when something felt wrong, shrink your reactions to make other people comfortable. But the body remembers, the nervous system remembers, the heart remembers, and eventually, the signal starts knocking again. That's why some of you found this podcast in the first place. Not because you were looking for answers, because something inside you was looking for recognition. Not worship, not agreement, recognition. The feeling of hearing something and finally saying, wait, I'm not the only one. And you're not. There are more people waking up to this every day. More people noticing the pressure, the performance, the emotional static, the manipulation, the hidden loneliness beneath loud confidence. More people beginning to realize that awareness isn't a curse, it's responsibility. Because once you notice things, you can't fully unnotice them. And that changes how you move through the world. So today, we're not going to shame sensitivity. We're going to decode it. We're going to talk about why tuned people burn out, why emotional overload happens, why certain environments drain you, why some people feel heavy, why peace feels rare, why your intuition keeps trying to warn you, and why the world keeps trying to disconnect people from themselves. Not to make you fearful, to make you aware. Because awareness without grounding becomes anxiety, but awareness with understanding, that becomes clarity. And clarity changes everything. And if something in these conversations has stayed with you, if these episodes help you feel a little less alone in your own mind, you can find us on Facebook. Just another place to continue the conversation, share the signal, and connect with others, trying to make sense of this strange world together. No pressure, just there when you need it. Because every day is awesome. We just have to get through it. And today, we begin. The lie. You are told about sensitivity. Let's start with the oldest wound. If you grew up tuned, then you probably grew up hearing the same lines over and over from people who never understood how deeply you processed the world. Lines like, "You're too emotional. You cry too easily. You take everything to heart. Stop being dramatic. You're too soft. You can't let things bother you like this. You're too sensitive." But those words were never really corrections, they were dismissals. Not because your reactions were wrong, but because your perception was sharper than their comfort. You weren't reacting too much, they were perceiving too little. You weren't fragile, they were numb. You weren't dramatic, they were disconnected. They called you emotional because they never learned how to face emotion honestly. And you weren't taking things too personally, they had just stopped taking anything deeply. Because when you're tuned, people who are out of tune often feel threatened by your clarity. So they minimize it, shame it, mock it, call it softness, so they don't have to call it truth. And somewhere along the way, a world obsessed with distraction started treating awareness like a malfunction. But your sensitivity was never the issue. The issue was living in a world that benefits from numbness more than awareness. You weren't the broken one. You were the awake one. Sensitivity is a biological sensor system. Let's bring this down from the emotional to the physical, because your sensitivity isn't just spiritual. It isn't just psychological, it's biological. Your nervous system isn't weak, it's responsive. Your senses don't overreact, they detect. Your emotions don't randomly flare up, they translate signal. Think about it. You feel tension in a room before a word is spoken. You sense disappointment before someone's face changes. You detect dishonesty in the split second between sentences. You notice tiny shifts in tone, breath, body language, energy, and tension. Your body reacts to truth faster than your mind can explain it. And that isn't dysfunction, that's detection. You don't hear danger, you feel it. You don't sit there analyzing manipulation. Your chest tightens around it. You don't always know why someone's hurting, but somehow your heart drops to meet their frequency. You don't wait for conflict to explode. Your shoulders rise before the argument even begins, because sensitivity is your body's way of reading the world honestly. And people disconnected from themselves usually don't notice the environment until it crashes into them. You feel the shift the moment the field changes. That's why your reactions can seem big to people who don't notice anything until it becomes obvious. But your reactions aren't bigger, they're earlier. You're not too sensitive. You're calibrated. You're not fragile. You're perceptive. You're not overly emotional. You're wired to feel what other people train themselves to ignore. And sometimes your body speaks the truth before your mind is ready to admit it. That is sensitivity as intelligence. The spiritual architecture of sensitivity. Let's go deeper now. Beneath the nervous system, beneath psychology, beneath behavior, into the architecture of awareness itself. Because sensitivity isn't just biological, it's spiritual. Not in the performative sense, not in the look how enlightened I am sense, in the oldest sense imaginable, attunement. Sensitivity is not extreme motion, it's frequency alignment. Sensitive people aren't fragile, they're open to truth, open to contradiction, open to resonance, open to the emotional geometry living underneath every interaction. Your sensitivity is the part of you that reads the world by vibration instead of presentation. You don't just hear people's words, you hear their tone. You don't judge people only by their actions, you feel the intention beneath them. You don't just notice moods, you notice presence, energy, pressure, congruence, distortion. And that's why you often feel things before they fully unfold. You feel tension before conflict arrives. You feel distance before relationships collapse. You feel dishonesty before evidence appears. You feel truth before facts organize around it. That isn't emotional chaos. That's deep pattern recognition. That's tuned perception. Sensitive people live one layer deeper than the environment around them. You don't just see a moment, you feel its origins and its consequences, almost simultaneously. You don't just feel sadness, you feel the wound underneath it. You don't just feel anger, you feel the fear holding it upright. You don't just notice indifference, you feel the numbness trying to survive beneath it. Most people react to surfaces, sensitive people feel structure. That's why certain places drain you, why certain people exhaust you, why fake smiles feel heavy, why performative confidence feels hollow, why some environments feel spiritually loud even when they're physically quiet. Your system is tuned to patterns before they fully form, and that sensitivity isn't weakness, it's orientation. You are reading the undercurrent while most people are staring at the waves. You're not too sensitive. You're experiencing the world closer to its real depth instead of its advertised depth. And yes, that makes life louder sometimes, but it also makes truth much harder to hide. Why? Sensitive people break before they bend. Here's one of the hardest truths about being tuned. Sensitive people often break before they bend. Not because they're weak, because bending too far requires dishonesty, and deep down, your spirit cannot survive too much dishonesty inside itself. You don't bend easily inside relationships that betray your clarity. You don't bend easily into beliefs that don't fit your soul. You don't bend easily to make other people comfortable with their own numbness, and you don't bend easily inside environments that force you to shrink your awareness, because your system is constantly trying to preserve alignment. So when the pressure becomes too heavy, instead of slowly becoming someone you're not, you fracture outward. You release, you detach, you step away, you emotionally crack open, and people call that weakness, because they only understand survival through suppression. But your break is often truth-telling. It's your nervous system saying, this cannot be carried anymore, because it never truly belonged to me. Sensitive people feel fractures early. You notice the disconnect before the world admits it exists. You leave relationships before they fully become toxic. You detach from friendships before the disrespect becomes obvious to everyone else. You stop forcing connection before betrayal completely surfaces. You withdraw before the emotional damage becomes irreversible. And from the outside, people call that overreacting. But from the inside, it feels like survival. You're not quitting. You're protecting yourself. You're not overwhelmed. You're responding honestly. You're not fragile. You're refusing to deform yourself just to fit somebody else's expectations. And here's the deeper truth. Sensitive people struggle to pretend. People disconnected from themselves can fake alignment for years. You can't. Because your body feels the lie. Your chest feels the pressure. Your spirit feels the distortion. And eventually, something inside you says, no more. So yes, sometimes you break before you bend. But for people like you, breaking is rarely destruction. It's shedding. It's recalibration. It's self-preservation. It's the soul refusing to distort itself just to make broken things look whole. Sensitivity in relationships. Why you feel everything first. Let's step into the place where sensitivity becomes both a gift and a wound. Relationships. Because when you are tuned, you don't just love differently, you perceive differently. You hear hesitation in someone's voice before they admit something is wrong. You feel distance in someone's spirit before they ask for space. You notice shifts in attention, changes in energy, small fractures in connection. Before the other person fully understands they're changing themselves, you sense disconnects people haven't consciously admitted yet, and because of that, you often hurt early, you grieve early, you feel endings before the ending arrives. And this creates one of the loneliest experiences sensitive people carry. Everyone thinks you're overreacting while you're quietly responding to something real that hasn't fully surfaced yet. They're living in the moment, you're feeling the trajectory. That's the difference. Your heart doesn't just feel what is. It feels where things are going, and that changes how you love. Why your loyalty runs deeper, why your trust takes longer, why heartbreak hits harder, why emotional inconsistency exhausts you faster than conflict itself. Because you don't bond at the surface, you bond at the roots, and roots feel everything. In relationships, your sensitivity means you feel storms before clouds fully form. You feel emotional distance while the other person still says everything is fine. You feel the beginning of the end while everyone else is still pretending nothing changed. And then people call you dramatic, but you're not dramatic, you're early. You're noticing emotional movement before it becomes visible. You're reading the undercurrent before the wave reaches shore. You aren't breaking down, you're breaking truth open, and honestly, that's a form of awareness most people never fully develop. Sensitivity as emotional honesty. Here's the paradox. Most people never understand about sensitive people. You don't become overwhelmed because you feel too much. You become overwhelmed because you feel accurately. Your emotions are honest, even when honesty is inconvenient. You don't suppress easily. You don't numb easily. You don't pretend easily. And your feelings don't quietly wait their turn. Behind social expectations, logic, performance, or politeness, they speak immediately. Not to create chaos, to reveal truth. But people often mistake that for instability, because emotionally honest people make emotionally avoidant people uncomfortable. Your sensitivity notices things. When someone is lying to themselves, when someone is hiding pain, when someone is emotionally conflicted, when someone is quietly withdrawing, when someone is pretending to be okay, when someone is projecting their wounds, when someone is spiraling underneath the mask, when someone is manipulating the atmosphere around them. You don't just react to behavior. You react to the real story beneath the visible one. And that's why your emotions can feel intense, not because they are random, because they are connected to something real. Sensitive people often struggle with dishonesty, not just in others, in themselves too. Because once you feel something deeply, it becomes very hard to fake your way around it. That's why people like you often become direct, intuitive, self-aware, compassionate, deeply perceptive, emotionally transparent, not perfect, but honest. And emotional honesty is rare in a world built on masking. That's why your reactions can seem too much to people who train themselves to feel nothing deeply at all. Because your openness exposes their suppression, your honesty reveals their performance, and your sensitivity interrupts the illusion that everyone is okay. So hear this clearly. You are not too sensitive. You are emotionally honest in a world that survives through emotional avoidance. And sometimes, truth feels loud inside rooms built on silence. The pain sensitive people hide. Every tuned person carries a pain that almost nobody notices, because somewhere along the way you learned how to hide it in plain sight. And here's the first truth. Sensitive people rarely fall apart in front of others, not because you don't break, but because your heartbreak usually begins long before anyone else sees the shift that caused it. Your grief arrives early. Your disappointment arrives early. Your clarity arrives early. You feel the fracture before the world even notices something cracked. So people look at you and assume you're okay because you still show up. You still listen. You still care. You still make space for others. You still function. But internally, you're carrying emotional weight most people wouldn't know how to survive. The pain sensitive people carry often sounds like this. The disappointment of seeing who someone really is before they reveal it openly. The exhaustion of constantly managing everyone else's emotional atmosphere while nobody notices you're doing it. The burden of empathy that makes you absorb feelings you never created. The heartbreak of caring deeply inside a culture that rewards emotional distance. The loneliness of being misunderstood by people who only listen at surface level. And sometimes, the quiet grief of seeing potential in people they never become. That one hurts deeply because sensitive people don't just love who someone is. You often love who they could have been. And when that version never arrives, something inside you mourns even while they're still standing there. That's a different kind of pain. You carry all of this quietly, not because you want silence, but because the world rarely teaches people where to place emotions that arrive before explanations do. So you carry them yourself with dignity, with tenderness, with restraint. And because your love runs deep, your losses do too. Sensitive people suffer differently. You don't just feel the pain of the moment, you feel what the moment means at the same time. And that double awareness is why emotional wounds cut you deeply while other people only feel the surface bruise. You are not weak, you are layered, and layered people feel life fully. The strength sensitive people never claim. Now let's turn the lens around, because there's another side to sensitivity. The world almost never talks about the strength inside it. People see emotion and assume weakness, but honestly, most people become emotionally numb because they are not strong enough to stay emotionally open. That's the truth nobody says out loud. Because real strength
is not hardness. Real strength is remaining open inside a world constantly trying to close you. Strength is telling the truth when lying would be easier. Strength is feeling deeply without letting the depths destroy your humanity. Strength is seeing pain and not turning away from it. Strength is carrying empathy without demanding applause. Strength is loving fully after life already scratched your heart raw. Strength is staying compassionate when bitterness would feel safer. Strength is listening when the ego wants control. Strength is remaining soft inside systems that reward emotional armor, and strength is feeling everything and still choosing to care anyway. That's power. You are not fragile. You are resilient, not because you never break, but because every time you break, you rebuild yourself with more clarity than before. Sensitive people don't just heal, you refine. You learn from heartbreak, you grow from betrayal, you deepen through disappointment, you become wiser through pain without becoming colder because of it. That matters, because many people survive pain by shutting themselves down. You survive pain while keeping your heart alive. That's rare, and your sensitivity creates abilities most people never fully develop. Pattern recognition, emotional fluency, instinctual clarity, empathy, discernment, relational intelligence, inner wisdom. Those aren't weaknesses. Those are advanced human traits, and people disconnected from themselves often misunderstand sensitivity because they cannot imagine carrying that much awareness without collapsing under it. But you do carry every day, even when nobody notices. So no, your sensitivity is not fragile. It is intelligent, layered, adaptive, awake. And whether the world understands it yet or not, the world needs people like you far more than it realizes.
The turning point: sensitivity becoming discernment. There comes a moment in the life of every tuned person, a before and an after, when sensitivity stops feeling like a burden and starts revealing itself as an instrument, not just emotional, spiritual. And that moment usually arrives quietly. Maybe you walked away from something everyone else said yes to, and months later realized your body understood the truth before your mind could fully explain it. Maybe you hesitated before trusting someone, and later discovered you weren't anxious at all, you were accurate. Maybe you started grieving a relationship before it officially ended, because somewhere deep inside, your spirit felt the goodbye long before the circumstances caught up to it. That happens to tuned people because sensitive people don't just react to life, you recognize it. And eventually, something shifts. Sensitivity begins transforming into discernment. That's the turning point. Discernment is sensitivity with understanding, with language, with experience, with self-trust, with spiritual maturity woven into your nervous system. Discernment is the moment you stop apologizing for what you feel and begin listening to it, not blindly, not emotionally recklessly, but honestly. Discernment is sensitivity finally standing up for itself. It's when intuition stops feeling like a curse and starts functioning like navigation. You stop treating your inner signal like an inconvenience. You start treating it like guidance, because over time, you realize something powerful. You were never the person feeling too much. You were often the person feeling what others refuse to acknowledge, and that realization changes everything, because this is the true turning point of being tuned. You stop carrying your sensitivity like a liability and begin carrying it like authority, not superiority, authority, the quiet kind, the kind built from surviving distortion without losing your ability to feel truth. Slow inhale, slow exhale. Again. Let your shoulders drop, let your jaw soften, let your chest unclench, let your breath feel like it belongs to you again. Let the noise settle for just a moment, because this next part is the deepest part of the entire journey. Everything we've explored together, your awareness, your intuition, your early warnings, your emotional depth, your quiet strength, your pattern recognition, your empathy, your loneliness, your heartbreaks, your ability to feel what others overlook. All of it has been leading here to the moment where we finally name what people like you have always been carrying. The thing the world misunderstood because it only knows how to measure surface level living. The reason you never fully fit inside shallow environments, the reason noise exhausts you,
The reason truth matters to you at a level other people struggle to understand this is the identity return for tuned people, for sensitive souls, for the ones who spent years believing their depth was dysfunction. Take one more breath. Slow inhale. Slow exhale. And now, we begin. You were never too sensitive. You were always tuned. If you spent your whole life feeling everything deeply, reading people carefully, carrying emotions honestly, hurting early, loving intensely, sensing change before it fully arrived. If you spent years apologizing for reactions that turned out accurate, quieting instincts that were right, softening truths that felt too heavy for others, or trying to numb a nervous system that simply refused to lie, then hear this clearly. You were never too sensitive. You were never too emotional. You were never too much. You were never too reactive. You were never too invested. You were never too intense. You were never too deep. You were never too affected. You were never too soft. You were tuned. Tuned to frequencies most people train themselves not to hear anymore. Your heart was tuned to truth. Your nervous system was tuned to resonance. Your intuition was tuned to pattern. Your emotions were tuned to honesty. And your spirit was tuned to alignment. That was never dysfunction. That was design. Your sensitivity was not a glitch inside the system. It was the operating system itself, a system designed to notice imbalance, to detect distortion, to uncover danger, to recognize sincerity, to protect your path, to guide your relationships, to keep your soul aligned with what is real. And yes, sometimes that awareness made life heavier, but it also made your perception clearer, because sensitive people often see the truth before the room is ready for it. You feel what others suppress, you notice what others dismiss, you respond to what others avoid, not because you're unstable, because you're awake. Your sensitivity is not a wound, it is wisdom, raw, unfiltered, human, sacred. You are not overwhelmed, you are aware, you are not fragile, you are finely tuned, you are not overreacting, you are noticing precisely, you are not too emotional. You are emotionally honest, and you are never too sensitive. You are awake inside a world, trying very hard to stay asleep. The world never broke you. It revealed you. If you've ever been told to stop taking things so personally, to toughen up, to stop crying, to calm down, to be less emotional, less reactive, less sensitive, then hear this carefully. The world was never correcting you. It was revealing itself. Because most of the time when people call someone too sensitive, what they really mean is, your honesty makes me uncomfortable. You weren't too sensitive, they were disconnected. You weren't too emotional, they were emotionally detached. You weren't too much. They had trained themselves to feel less. You weren't fragile, they were unfamiliar with depth, and you weren't unstable. You were responding to realities other people learned to suppress. That's the difference. People often call you too sensitive when your presence forces them to acknowledge what they've been avoiding inside themselves, because sensitivity isn't the wound, it's the mirror. And people rarely hate mirrors, they hate reflection. But here's the revelation most sensitive people eventually discover. Your sensitivity survived, your depth survived, your intuition survived, your empathy survived, your discernment survived, your honesty survived, your spirit survived. Every moment that tried to harden you failed. The world bent around you. But something essential inside you refused to close completely. Yes, you cracked open, but you did not disappear. You fell apart. But you rebuilt yourself into something truer instead of something smaller that matters deeply. Because your sensitivity was never the part of you that got damaged. It was the part that kept guiding you through the damage. It was the compass that rerouted you. The alarm that warned you, the truth that anchored you when everything else felt distorted. Your sensitivity protected your soul long before you understood its purpose, and now, you no longer have to apologize for it. You no longer have to shrink it, hide it, explain it, defend it. You can carry it honestly now. because you were never too sensitive. You were tuned. Tuned to truth, tuned to people, tuned to patterns, tuned to emotional reality inside a world obsessed with performance and noise. You were designed to feel life at its real depth, designed to navigate through resonance instead of distraction, designed to recognize atmospheres before they fully revealed themselves. And maybe that's why you always felt different. Because people like you aren't built to sleepwalk through existence. You are a reasoner, a navigator, a perceiver, a tuned soul, learning how to trust what it has always known. This is who you are. This is who you've always been. And maybe, for the first time in your life, you no longer need permission to become it fully.
Take a breath. And if nobody told you this lately, I'm glad you're still here. This episode, and honestly, this entire journey so far, is dedicated to the people who spent their lives feeling different, but never fully understood why. The people called too emotional, too quiet, too deep, too aware, too intense, too sensitive. The ones who learned to hide their tuning just to survive louder environments. This is for the people who kept feeling anyway. Even after disappointment, even after betrayal, even after being misunderstood. May your sensitivity never shrink to make the world feel comfortable. May your intuition never go quiet to protect someone else's denial. May your depth never apologize to shallow conversations. May your awareness never dim to match someone else's numbness. May your heart never stop feeling just because someone else stopped listening. May your honesty never soften just to keep peace with people who avoid truth. May your soul stay tuned, even when the world is loud. May your sensitivity lead you to the people who don't fear it. May your resonance become a refuge for those who've been taught to hide, and may you always remember, your sensitivity is not your weakness, it is your compass. You are not too sensitive, you are tuned. And if these conversations resonate with you, if they help you feel a little more grounded, a little more understood, a little less alone in your own mind, you can follow The Signal on Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and everywhere else The Signal travels. Thank you for walking this road with me, truly. Because awareness is only the beginning, and next time, we move from noticing the signal to learning how to move through the world with it. Not just awareness, function, movement, real-life calibration. The moment awareness stops being theory and starts becoming practice, that's where we're headed next. Every day is awesome. We just have to get through it. I'll see you soon, Reasonauts.